I know when you got engaged, you went into work, you announced on the live radio, like, oh, my fiance and I got engaged.
Yeah.
Ta-da. And people were angry. The listeners were angry. Can you say more about that?
Yeah.
Why they were so angry?
So I'm on the radio. So it's like I play pop music, but then I also talk about myself or pop culture or whatever. So obviously this was big news coming in on Monday that I got engaged. It was a double proposal. So we each proposed to each other without realizing that the other was planning on proposing.
Wait, so you both had rings in the pocket?
Yeah.
Like, and you hadn't communicated to each other, this is the weekend it's going to happen. Did you guys go on a trip or like what was this? Okay.
We went on a trip and our best friend from California was in town. So both in our minds were like, this would be a perfect weekend. But I told her it was a brand deal trip at a cottage, but I actually just like had my manager fake an email and booked it on Airbnb myself. Just so I could like get her up there and then had it all set up. And she in her
Did
head,
the friend that was with you know that you were both proposed?
From both of us. Shout out Teresa. She really nailed it. Yeah.
Teresa's like shocked. I can't believe this is
She's
happening.
Like, what? Both of you? That's crazy.
Hello and welcome back to Overstimulated with me, Hillary Henderson. This week we have a radio host, an interviewer, a TikTok queen. Shannon Burns is here. Hey, Shannon.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks so much for coming. We were just discussing that we're neighbors.
We're neighbors.
Which is really exciting when we're going on our hot girl walks.
Yeah, I'm probably going to see you all the time now. We probably walked right by each other.
I hope so. I hope so. I'm going to be like probably high smoking a joint on like a walk.
Me too.
Like, okay, perfect.
Wait, should we go on some like smoking walks?
I'm ready for it. I feel
it.
like this is, we do talk about mental health on this show for sure, but this is like anti-mental health now. I don't know. Sometimes if you need that, if that's
I feel
like a
it
good
helps my mental health. I feel it helps me out at the end of the day.
Just a little decompress.
Yeah.
Shannon, I want to know more about your lore. How did you know that you wanted to get into radio and become the superstar that you are today?
That is so nice. I went to school for broadcasting. So growing up, I always wanted to be like an actress, or I was just like obsessed with Hollywood. And then as I got older, I realized that I don't want to act at all, and I don't know how to memorize any lines.
It is awful though. I always have the dream of like maybe I'll like be comedy starring actress in everything, and then I get like one self-tape audition from my agent and it derails my whole week because I'm like, I have to memorize 3 pages of text.
And and the getting told no all the time when going for auditions, I was like, I can't do that. So I realized I really just want to be in that world, but just like talking to people who are in that world. So I went to school for broadcasting. I thought
you could have done improv.
I've never done improv.
Really?
Never. That also seems scary. So I was like, this is not the life for me.
Yeah.
And then, I went to school for broadcasting, just like fell in love with radio, ended up getting my first job in radio, and then started working my way up in the industry. So like right after college, I moved to Alberta.
Yes,
to,
you were in Edmonton, right?
Yeah, I was in Edmonton for 4 years, and then a city called Medicine Hat, Alberta for a year, which is like small town.
Were you like the only lesbian woman in Medicine Hat?
Literally, I was the only lesbian that I met. And I probably met everyone because it's a pretty small town. But I moved in with 2 girls that I met on like Kijiji.
Oh, wow.
It was wild. And I even asked them when I was moving in, I was like, are you guys like LGBTQ plus friendly? And they're like, what does that mean? Like had never met a gay person
and
before.
For reference, this is like what, 2014?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Literally 2014. So I was like, guys, like, like gay? And they're like, oh yeah, we're fine. And they were super chill and whatever.
That's great.
But, yeah,
I'm just imagining you like putting on Netflix and being like, we're going to educate.
Yeah, I was like, let me introduce you to,
get the L word on.
That's what I'm here to do now is just educate people on queerness. So, but and then worked my way up in radio, and then the goal was always to end up back in Toronto, and then I've been here for like 8 years now. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Was there anything that like ever happened that you were like embarrassed about when you're starting your career?
I always say I'm so glad that I went far away to start my radio career, because I was so bad when I started on air. I don't know how anyone gave me a job. Like my first day actually speaking on the radio was in Medicine Hat, and I was 21 and I'd never really like spoken on air before. And it was me and my co-host named Poncho. I'm like, this sounds made up.
Wait, so do radio hosts actually use their real names? Like
a lot of people don't.
Okay.
Poncho, not his real name.
Shocking.
His name's Carl. I have a broadcasting, like my name you can spell by hearing it. So that's usually the gauge that you go by. So like Shannon Burns, you can probably Google if you hear it. So, but if you have a name that is harder to spell or something, it's like harder to advertise yourself. So a lot of people will change their name in that way, or do something that just like I don't know, catches on more or whatever.
Yeah.
So then, so a lot of people don't. You'll be surprised. Sometimes you think somebody's name is their real name and it's not.
That's great. I wish you would have like named yourself like Nick Cage or like
right.
Like
Just
there's already too many of those.
And you can't Google me at all.
You could have been like Dr. Burns. You know, like I'm thinking of like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons.
Right.
If you like took it up. Like if you want
just
to start
named
doing
myself doctor so that it sounds like I have like
that's
the title, but
that's
it's
right.
actually just
everyone
name.
could be a doctor if you believe in yourself.
I kind of love that. I regret not doing that. That's crazy. But yeah, I was terrible on air. I remember when I was leaving. I was only in Medicine Hat for a year, and I had met some like people at a bar, like listeners of the radio station, and I was telling them that I was leaving or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, you're good now, but when you started, you were so bad." And I was like, "I know, thank you so much." But hopefully, I'm a little bit better now. I've been doing it for like 10 years. So.
That's great. Never meet your fans.
Yeah,
IRL.
I was like, "Thanks, guys, keeping me humble."
I would be so sad if like I was doing a show and like usually like women come to the shows. It's usually only women that will come. And if a girl came up to me afterwards and was like, "Yeah, when you first started the podcast, it was shit," I'd be like, "Yeah, you know what? It probably was, but like, thank you for just calling it out." Like,
I know, but keep it real, I guess.
Yeah. That's the problem with I feel like with what we both do is like you don't have the luxury of failing privately. Yeah. Like it's like if you're gonna do something.
Well, anything you put out there, especially online, people will be like trash. I'm like, okay, sorry, I'll try again.
Literally. Well, I want to talk to you about like your internet fame and all the many TikToks you have.
Yes, I've been on it for a while now. I started in like 2019. So.
What does your FYP look like?
My For You page right now is looking crazy. Okay. It's like, I don't even know how I could possibly explain it. I feel like I'm deep in the like Zendaya hat theory. Have you heard of this?
No.
I feel like you either see it or you like don't see it at all. But there's this, how do I even explain it? There's one time Zendaya wore this like super huge black hat. And now everybody is just making like so many layered meme videos of her and this hat and the relationship she has with this hat. And I've like turned it into conspiracy theories and it's the whole thing.
Wait, so what are some of the theories?
You can't even tell. I'll show you after. It's like so bizarre. But it's either that or like cute babies. Like I think my body is telling me that I like need to have a child. So now I'm like obsessed with everybody who has children.
Have you seen a lot of like the AI like baby podcasts? Like,
wait, is that? That's so weird.
Because if no offense to Theo Vaughn, but if I see a clip of his podcast, I'm not stopping to watch most of the time. But if it's baby Theo Vaughn, I'm locked in.
Yeah, totally.
So
that's so funny.
You know, maybe that's like the biological need in us to like nurture. You're just like, wait, what are the babies saying?
I'm like, okay, baby Theo's not so bad. Yeah,
I'm like, it's just a baby. This can't grow an army. Like this, we're all just little babies, are we not?
Exactly. Whoa, maybe it's so much deeper. That's so crazy.
Like, my TikTok and my Instagram is like a lot of babies as well. Yeah, and like I'm very happy to like not have a child at this moment. Or like possibly any, I don't know. Sometimes like it's May right now and it's very warm and I'm grateful it's warm outside, but I'm a little bit like, it's giving like climate crisis and like maybe I shouldn't procreate. Right? Like this is, anyways.
Oh my goodness,
the spirals of being a modern woman.
Literally, like my fiance and I always wanted to have kids the whole time we were dating, and now just in the last year we're like, I don't think that we should. Like I think the world is burning and we should probably just like sit this one out.
Yeah. That's, I can't even imagine in the like, so in like I like as a straight woman in such like a heteronormative like circumstance, like I feel like dudes never even talk about like whether or not they want to have children a lot of the time. Like you just kind of say like, oh yeah, that's what I want. They're like, yeah, like
they like haven't even really thought about it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And how did you meet your partner, your fiance?
We met on Tumblr like way back in the day. Yeah, that like goes to show how old we are now.
Okay, so you're in Medicine Hat, Alberta, scrolling Tumblr.
Yeah, pretty much. It was actually before that. I was like 19 when I met her.
Oh my God.
I know, it's so long ago. So then,
and now Shannon's only 21.
And now it was 2 years ago, just 6 months ago. Yes, we met on Tumblr. We had like mutual friends, and then we followed each other online. And then we both were in New York City for Pride in 2013. So I was like deep in the closet at the time. I told my mom that I was just going to New York for the weekend.
Okay.
And then I like went to New York because it was Pride and she was there as well. So we like met up on the street, took one photo, and then just like went our separate ways.
And she's American.
She's American. She's from North Carolina originally.
Wow.
And then we just like became friends after that and like would visit each other for like years and years. We were in kind of the same friend circles, and then during COVID we just like started FaceTiming all the time, and then we both were like, I love you, and then now we're getting married.
Wait,
in a month from today.
Oh my God, Shannon, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I feel like that's scary to just be like FaceTiming, and then did you decide like then you were like, we're gonna be in a
we
relationship?
Like always had crushes on each other, but I lived in Canada I lived in Medicine Hat and Edmonton. She lived in North Carolina. We were like, there's no way we're going to date each other.
Right.
We're young and hot. Let's go our separate ways and like do our thing. And then maybe we'll find each other one day. So then when COVID hit, she was living in Chicago and I was living in Toronto.
Okay. Which
so
is like a realistic distance. Yeah.
Definitely more realistic, except the border was closed. So we were like, yeah, let's start dating. Like, let's be exclusive. The border's probably going to open. COVID's going to be over in like 2 months. This was May of 2020.
Oh my
so we were like,
God. Dun,
jokes
dun,
on
dun.
us.
Yeah.
We didn't see each other for almost an entire year in person after that. But we were used to being like long distance friends. So then we did a long distance relationship for 2 years. And now she lives in Canada and has her PR. And she'll
finally. So ladies, if there's someone out there that you met on Tumblr back in the day and you're wondering if they're still thinking about you, they might.
They might. It's the one. Or it might be a person that you met when you were a teenager that you like end up with. It's
That's
wild.
crazy. That's crazy. And you had like basically like a decades long like friendship before you ever like dating.
Totally.
And did you know did you like obviously you both felt like physical attraction?
Yeah. The first time we went on like a trip together with friends, we went to Mexico to a resort and we were like making out drunk the first night. Like we were like, oh, you're hot.
Check. Physical connection is there.
For sure.
Yeah.
We were like, we had to share a room because we wanted to save money. And we're like, I guess we'll share a bed. So then like every trip that we would go
purely
on.
for economic reasons.
Yeah.
Purely
we
for economic reasons.
are just trying to save money. So yeah, we always like, if we were both single on a trip, we'd probably end up sharing a room or making out or whatever.
Yeah.
So we always had little crushes on each other, but never took it seriously at all until we like started dating.
I love it. And the power of social media. Just like bringing people together.
Yeah, totally.
Did you, I know when you got engaged, you went into work, you announced on the live radio, like, oh, my fiance and I got engaged.
Yeah.
Ta-da. And people were angry. The listeners were angry. Can you say more about that?
Yeah.
Why they were so angry?
So I'm on the radio, so it's like I play pop music, but then I also talk about myself or pop culture or whatever. So obviously this was big news coming in on Monday that I got engaged. It was a double proposal. So we each proposed to each other without realizing that the other was planning on proposing.
Wait, so you both had rings in the pocket?
Yeah.
Like, and you hadn't communicated to each other, this is the weekend it's going to happen. Did you guys go on a trip or like what was this? Okay.
We went on a trip and our best friend from California was in town. So both in our minds were like, this would be a perfect weekend. But I told her it was a brand deal trip at a cottage, but I actually just like had my manager fake an email and booked it on Airbnb myself. Like did just so I could like get her up there and then had it all set up. And she in her
did
head,
the friend that was with you know that you were both proposed?
From both of us. Shout out Teresa. She really nailed it. Yeah.
Teresa's like shocked. I can't believe this is
She's
happening.
Like, what?
Right?
Both of you? That's crazy. So then, so we both ended up proposing, and it was a wonderful weekend, beautiful story. And then I told the story on air, and I got like a really mean email from a woman who, straight off the bat, she was like, "Congratulations on your engagement." So I'm like reading it at work, and then
being like, "Oh, I'm so special.
I'm
this
like,
is
that's
so
so
nice."
Yeah. And then she's like, I'm not homophobic, but I just want to.
But
yeah, I'm like, oh no, here we go. She's like, I just don't want to have to explain to my 7 and 10-year-old like what being gay is, even though I don't have a problem with it, and I feel like gay people are just as equal as straight people.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, then what's the issue?
Yeah.
But she was like, I just don't think that this is something that you should be talking about in daytime radio. And I was like, that's wild.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Also, surely your kids are going to figure out what gay people are at some point.
7 and 10.
Maybe you, who allegedly doesn't have a problem and has an unbiased perspective, should be the one.
Yeah,
to
she said
explain
something
this.
too where she was like, I don't want to have to teach my kids this. This should be something their like teachers teach them in school
What?
or something like that. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, you're obviously not doing a great job as a parent.
I
if
feel
you're-
like the same type of parents. They're like, I don't want to talk about it with my kids. If like the school's talking about it with their kids, they're also like, how dare you teach my like
I know.
what? How
I'm
dare
like,
you indoctrinate my kid?
you can't win. And I'm
No.
like, yeah. So I was just so caught off guard by that. So I did what I usually do in a moment like that, and I made a TikTok about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is that like the weirdest complaint that you've got from listeners?
We get weird ones all the time. I said the word sexy one time, and some lady called in was like freaking out because she didn't like that I said sexy.
Why is it mostly women freaking out at you?
I have no idea. I feel like, well, most of our listeners are women, but also I'm like, guys, relax. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we get weird stuff all the time where people will just like not enjoy the show or like criticize you for what you do, but I'm like, that's bound to happen with like, so as I can imagine, as we are. Any woman doing anything, you're like getting criticized.
You're like,
for
can
it.
you stop talking? Actually, I would like it better if you put a paper bag over your head and a muzzle in your mouth and just
like,
did not
shut
speak.
Up. You're ugly. And you're like, okay.
Thank you. No, that's always the wildest to me when I'll like make a TikTok literally like no makeup on, just like, oh, I had a random thought. And those are the ones that always, like, of course, go viral.
And I always feel bad too, because I'm like, you see so many women make TikToks and right away they want to say the thing they came on TikTok to say.
Yeah.
But they have to do like the disclaimer where they're like, sorry, my hair is greasy. I'm not wearing makeup.
Yeah.
Anyways, today I want to, and I'm always like, don't do that.
Don't
like,
do that. Just
don't
say
give them that.
Yeah. But even when you do say it, it's like, it's never about the substance of what you're talking about. It's always like, by the way, like this ugly home wrecker, like, what? You're like, what?
Like, this is not
like
the context of it.
Yeah. And then you go to their profile and I'm like, oh, sorry, Phil 69. I actually am quite okay if you never want to fuck me.
I know.
Like, I'll be good. Actually, I'll rest easier at night.
Yeah.
That's
like my favorite thing to see right now online too, is like they'll read the comments that somebody leaves and then they'll show the face, the profile photo of the person's face. And it's always just like the grossest looking person who's just like, commenting on like a model and being like, I wouldn't hit that. And we're like, it's
probably reciprocal.
Joseph.
Yeah. It's fine. What advice would you have to like any young women that are maybe not even starting a career in the public space, but are just like trying to be more confident in what they're doing?
Yeah, I think I spent so many years being so not confident and having so much anxiety over what other people think of me. So that
how on earth would you like get up and go to work then if that's
you just gotta power through and like just don't answer the phone that day. But then I think for myself, what I noticed is that I missed out on so many things because I held myself back. Yeah. So I like made a TikTok and then didn't post it, or like wanted to ask a question in an interview and then didn't ask it because I was just second guessing myself so much. Now I'm on Zoloft, so feeling a lot better. Okay. Anxiety's under control. And now, I think also just with age and experience too, I'm like, I can like fuck up and I can make mistakes.
Right.
And
it's not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So it's like you want to take those risks or else you're not going to get that reward.
I like it. I think maybe I need to get on Zoloft. I had a therapy appointment today and my therapist was just basically like, in a very like kind way, was like, I think you're outside of your window of tolerance.
That's a good way to.
Oh, okay, great. I'm like, I think Gen Z calls that crashing out, crashing the fuck out. But outside of my window of tolerance, I like that.
For sure.
But I do like that imagery though, because then it feels like when you're maybe just like overwhelmed, overstimulated, if you will, it's like a temporary state. Like you can get back to within
you're temporarily out of it, and we just got to bring you back in.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Comment below if you have any tips for windows of tolerance. Also, go, if you're on YouTube, type in windows. You can find other people explain this much more eloquently than what I'm doing. Shannon, since you have so many TikToks around like celebrity couples, celebrity drama, I have some questions for you about that.
Please, bring it on.
How did you first become obsessed with like celebrity gossip?
I think it's because it was like something that was bad. Like I grew up super religious. So we were always taught like, do not praise celebrities. Those are false idols, like that whole thing.
I feel like we've had the exact same arc. You're from Burlington. I'm from Hamilton. Both like very Christian.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what church did you go to? We'll beep it out for safety.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the church community I came from is like Canadian Reformed Christian. It's like Dutch people. What's yours?
Well, okay, so I went to a Presbyterian church growing up, but I went to a place called which was a feeder school for like
elementary school?
Yeah, it was an elementary school for like King's Christian Collegiate and like Hamilton District Christian.
Okay, I probably know it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Anyways, there was like a lot of...
Do you guys have uniforms?
Yes.
Was it on like...
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah, I know that's cool. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My family's not Dutch, but like that was like the circle that we
was
were
like the Dutch.
Yes,
people.
that's right. Yeah.
And then they go to like HD.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. So I went to the other Christian high school in Hamilton called like.
Oh, I've heard of it. Yeah.
No one's ever heard of that high school.
Yeah.
It's
I worked with a girl and I don't want to like be like this. Sorry, this is like deep,
sidebar,
like very like niche lore. No one
know.
else is gonna understand. Yeah. I think we might know some of the same
we
people.
Probably do.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 32.
You're 32. Okay, so you're 5 years older. Yeah.
Anyways, we'll get into that. After.
So you went to that school.
Yeah.
Which like from what I know about the Dutch Reforms, they're very generous in terms of like, yo, come over for dinner. What's on your heart right now? Not very generous in terms of like their tolerance towards like diverse communities, including
not at all.
Queer people.
Yeah.
How did you arc out of that? Or are you still like, what's your relationship with like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I ended up leaving the church and then I came out after that. But I feel like if I were to have come out in the church, then they probably would have been like, you can't stay here.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're going to act on it. So that's like a big belief in the religion that I grew up in. is like you can be born gay, but it's the sin is like acting on it. So then,
no, oh my
yeah.
God.
So then they're like, you can just be alone for the rest of your life. So that's kind of the mentality that they still kind of have.
Yeah.
So luckily enough, I left before I like came out and all of those things. But yeah, it's still not accepting. I like lost all my friends from high school.
Yeah.
I'm like not close with anybody that I grew up with. Yeah.
Is that hard for you to like not be close with people from your roots?
Kind of, but kind of not. Where it's like I was around people who weren't accepting me for who I am, and now that I've found a community of people who do accept me for who I am, then I just feel so much more like unconditional love.
Yeah.
So it's nice to like be out of it and be free from all like just organized religion in general. It's tough.
Congrats, Shannon. I'm so proud of. I'm so proud of. We just met today, but I'm so proud of you.
That's so sweet. That's so nice.
I feel like it's so hard to go against like what you're taught to believe like about yourself and how you connect with other people, and I think there's even this like, you know, especially for women, I think sometimes female friendships are talked about in the media and like glorified in this way where it's like me and my besties for life, like me and the girls that I sat beside in kindergarten, and now we're all still best friends. And like, if that's your story, great, amazing. I hope it's all like happy and healthy. But I think it's rare that like people can grow from like being so young into adults and like still be the same people with like same interests. And so like sometimes I feel like there's this outside pressure to have these like close bonds
and to
you're
like stay with that friend group.
Which like also if someone's not being nice to you and like not respecting,
like don't be friends with them.
Don't be friends with that person.
Yeah, go find someone else.
Yeah.
So it's nice that I've had a chance to separate myself from that. So totally.
And now she's on the radio, bitches.
Yeah, so. Eat it up.
Were you ever on like the radio at school? Like, were you like screeching in like, "Hello, good morning, students"?
We like didn't really have anything.
No, okay, yeah. For Christians hate the arts unless it's for the Lord.
They
Christians
do. We like didn't have anything at school. Like no. So many people I went to college with were like, yeah, I was running our school AV club. And I was like, I got to make our grad video. And that was like the most I ever did. So here we go.
And that was like a big deal, I'm sure, because there was no other option.
Yeah, I was like someone let me like do something in this space. Yeah. But then in college and stuff, I had like a college radio show and all that. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Cool. What was it called?
It was called Coffee Hour or something like that, where I was like,
this was pre-ChatGPT, like they weren't getting help with
no, not very catchy. But I would play like indie music. I was like so into like Bon Iver and like folk music, so I was like, we gotta play this. Yeah. And then I think I did another one that was called like Flashback to the 90s, where we just played like 90s music.
The Niagara College students were bumping.
Yeah,
Niagara
College. Sick. Yeah.
She read a website before.
Yeah, you did your research.
Journalist now, that's me.
Hey.
Watch out, I'm coming for your job, Shannon. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to your TikTok, so the celebrity gossip.
Oh yeah, right.
I have a game for you with some celebrity couples, and I want you to tell me if you think it's a real couple or a PR stunt.
Oh, I'm into this. Okay, go.
First one, Travis and Taylor.
Oh, that's a hard first one to start with, because in the beginning I did really think that maybe they liked each other, or maybe they were becoming public very quickly because they wanted the PR. Can I say both?
Yes.
Okay. I think they love each other, but I also think they're doing things
it's advantageous
to be places at certain times to like control.
When I saw the matching Gucci outfits, that's for me when I was like, this is PR.
Yeah.
This is PR.
And she's so private. Like her and Joe never saw them in their 6-year relationship that she had before Travis. So the fact that she's so public, I'm like, I feel like you're trying to control the narrative.
Right.
Not that that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like get it. Obviously you're Taylor Swift. You want to like control what people are saying about you and have the say, and
we're controlling our narratives right now.
Exactly. Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah. We haven't seen them around in a while though.
Yeah, a couple months.
It's like I hope they're doing well.
Yeah, I think they're doing fine. I think they're laying low. Whenever she's too quiet, that means she's working on new music. Oh, so like in like 2 weeks, she's gonna be like, let her new cook. Album coming.
Literally, let her cook.
Yeah,
like she's
always working.
Yeah, I also feel like if it's like, oh no, like your PR relationship is to like this hot like all-star football player that like also has a lot of money and is well respected. Yeah. Oh no, like it really could be worse.
Totally. I'm just glad it is Travis, whether it's real or not, because he just seems like such a good guy.
Right. Yeah. Right. Okay, I love it. What about Kylie and Timothy?
Well, I think that's real.
You think it's okay?
In the very beginning, I was like, there's no way. But then there was like some helicopter backyard photos or something. Somebody like took photos of them like hanging out in her backyard, and I was like, they wouldn't be hanging out like that. Like that's
if it
private.
Wasn't, you're right.
Like they would be out in public. So that was the first inkling that I had where I was like, I think they're real. And now I'm like, I think they're actually real, and I would never picture these two people together.
Right.
But now it somehow makes sense.
It's like giving like Princess and the Frog. Like, and I mean that respectfully. Like, I'm not saying Timothy is an ugly man, but like, you know, like it's not like, I think if you just like going purely off of looks and vibes, if I saw just Timothy, I picture him with like a really skinny, like heroin chic, skinny, like artistic girl.
He dated Lily Rose Depp back in the day.
Yes.
And when they dated, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, you know, when a couple's together and you're like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kylie and Timothy, never thought, but more power to them.
Do you think like, is it possible for a relationship to start PR relationship and then actually like,
Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello.
Is that I think they started, you have tea on that one? No,
I don't know anything. This is all speculation. But I think when they first started dating, it was around the time that they were coming out with a song together. And or they were like both coming out with music. So I was like, this timing feels interesting.
Weird. Okay, so similarly, is Selena and Benny, is their engagement a PR engagement?
No, that's love. I think their relationship came first, and then they were like, wait, we can capitalize off this real relationship and come out with an album together.
It's a business.
Or just because we love it. But I think theirs was like not PR at all. Yeah. Because people were really against it when they first started dating. And I think only recently, now that they've like done interviews together and seen how sweet he is, they're like, oh, okay, this actually does make sense.
Yeah. I love it. I love like I've been on the side of TikTok where there's a lot of like sketches of people like Benny Blanco just being like, Selena, like I care about your feeling, like I'll do anything. And so he's like, I just can't focus right now. I just can't. Like, you have to do everything for me, like this kind of thing. Which I'm pro that. I'm pro finding.
Oh, I'm jealous of their relationship. They both cook food.
Yes,
my fiance and I both do not cook, so I'm like, they probably have the best meals of their lives, and I'm gonna go like eat some cheese and crackers when I get home.
That's your fiance's only red flag, is that you're both malnourished.
Constantly. We're both dehydrated and we're both malnourished. But the house, always immaculately clean. We love to clean.
Okay.
So,
maybe you guys can come over to my house and help me with that.
Perfect.
Okay, I've got another couple, PR or real. Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable.
Oh my goodness. Okay, real. I think that's real. Yeah, because that was so long coming.
You're right. Multiple
seasons. Like, I think that it would have happened sooner if it was PR, because they'd be like, oh, we can fake this. But they had to wait for it to like happen naturally. Yes. That's such a good question.
And also, he has a naked mole rat.
I know. That's
that's love.
That's love. If you can accept someone for who they are and their naked mole rat. Yeah,
that's
then
beautiful.
You love them. That is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. I hope they're happy. Where do you think they are right now?
I hope all the crime's been stopped in the world.
I hope they don't have to work. Yeah. Hopefully they're retired.
Yeah. I do like imagine sometimes if like these like cartoon characters came into real life. Right. I feel like Ron would low-key be a Trump supporter. And I have nothing to support that other than just a vibe.
Whoa. He is a white straight man.
Yeah. So. Right? So like Target demo.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Is Ron a Trump supporter? That'd be so sad.
That would be sad. But then I feel like Kim would be like, what do you mean?
Yeah, she's like, I'll dump your ass.
Yeah.
Vote for Kamala.
Yeah. Actually, if anybody wants to the creators of Kim Possible, if you want to bring it back and have Kim save all the detainees from ICE, I think that would be a fabulous. We'll work on it. Okay, I have another one for you. What about Pope Leo and the People? Is that a PR relationship?
That is so funny. Technically, isn't it all PR?
Like, they have the little fucking smoke.
Isn't
like, they
that
have
what
this,
the conclave is? Like, it's PR for the Catholic Church.
Was Francis's death PR for Conclave, though, the movie?
Whoa. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Right?
Because him dying on Easter, him waiting till he met JD Vance.
Yes.
To like put that. Yeah. I think it's all PR. The Catholic Church is PR.
You heard it here first. Two former Christian girls being like, the Catholic Church is PR.
Organized religion is just PR.
Yeah, it is. I went to a Catholic high school. Again, my family's not Catholic. We just like, that's where we ended up going to school. And like the Eucharist, the little wine that's not even wine.
Oh yeah.
PR.
Right.
It's fake. Like, it's like, oh, everybody gather and like have a snack, but it's like really not substantial.
It's like PR and to get you to come to church. Like, you gotta be there to do it. That's them.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. You gotta come to the event.
Yeah.
There's like, I wonder if we're gonna see a rise of like church influencers.
We already are. Tradwife?
No, okay, yeah.
I'm like,
but I haven't seen anybody like vlogging a church service. I'm sure it's out there. Just it hasn't came across my desk.
Yeah, like in church.
Yeah.
They're like, come with me.
Yeah.
It's probably already a thing. Yeah.
Oh. Rip. Okay. What if that's don't defile a place of worship by vlogging there. Actually, don't for sure. Okay. What about the whole polycule from the 16 cast?
Wait, what do any of those words mean? Like
Do you not-
16, like the cartoon
Yes.
show
Yeah.
from like when we grew up.
Yes.
Oh, I don't even remember anything about it. Oh, it's like the whole group of friends.
Yes. I feel like they were all like kind of together, but kind of not, you know?
Interesting. Let's say PRs.
Yeah. This was major
I have no take,
PR.
so let me just, PR for sure. For the show.
Fiona and Shrek.
Oh, love.
Yeah.
He fought for her.
Yeah.
I could go on.
Do you like Shrek?
Sadly, that's like the most millennial thing about me is that I love Shrek.
Okay, so I'm technically Gen Z, but Shrek's my favorite movie.
It's this. And Shrek 2 is so good. And like,
Yes,
never is a
you
follow-up
can't-
as
right?
good as the first. And it really knocked it out of the park. I'm nervous for Shrek 5 coming out next year. I don't know if that's going to be as good, but
I'm hoping it's like just like a campy. Like I'm
Yeah.
hoping they just play into the campiness.
They just, like,
of it
give
and just
everybody what they
embrace it.
want.
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah. I have an embarrassing story about Shrek actually
Please.
that I want to share with you. So, my roommates and I in university, we had a Shrek theme party called Shrek Fest because one night we were having some drinks, we were smoking some weed, and this would be like a running bit in our house like anytime we had a party. And this is like back in the days where you made a Facebook group of your party to be like, yo, it's coming.
I have 72 albums on Facebook right now.
Yeah. I need to go back and unearth them actually. But in like the event description for these parties we would always write, come dressed as this. They'd all have a theme. And like say one theme was 90s, would be like soundtrack is anything from the 90s plus anything from the Shrek soundtrack. And so it was like a running joke that like Shrek soundtrack would always be featured.
Yeah.
And I think we were like looking up like Shrek party something. And then we came across this YouTube video describing Shrek Fest, which is an annual event that happens in Madison, Wisconsin, where they have an onion eating contest, an ogre like growling contest, and of course a screening of the 2001 masterpiece in the park.
Of course.
And so we were like, well, we're all university students that are broke. We can't make it to Wisconsin, but like we can have Shrek Fest in Guelph, Ontario, which is where I went to school. And so we had an onion eating contest. We had costumes.
For yourself.
My boyfriend at the time won the onion eating contest and then stank like onions for like possibly over a week afterwards.
Damn.
It didn't matter like how many times he brushed his teeth, shower. Like, it was just like deep
Seeping
into his
out of
pores.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
That's wild.
Shrek
I feel like you
heads.
guys are ahead because now everybody on TikTok too, I'm seeing is like having their own Shrek themed parties.
yeah, but they're doing it like very like fancy. Like they're
like
getting
everyone's one character.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they're getting like I think like over $100 costumes from Amazon. Like we were really like my costume I was like Fiona's dad when he's like the frog man.
Nice.
And I had a costume that my brother had from when he was like 5 years old that was like a toddler's frog costume.
You're like,
but I
this'll
just
do.
I just kind of like put my arms in it and put it over my head, and it kind of looked like I was like coming out of the frog. When I was like, he's half frog, half man, so like, this works.
It's perfect.
Yeah, we had a lot of people were just like the blind mice, which I think is a cop out to just have sunglasses. And
That
a
is
cane.
the easiest one to be. So yeah. But I've been trying to get some like Shrek soundtrack songs on our wedding playlist. So that's like the battle I'm going through at home right now, where I was like, just one more Shrek song.
No, you need to have your first dance should be a Shrek song.
I know, we're trying to figure out what to walk back down the aisle to, because everyone like figures out the song you want to walk down the aisle to. Right? I was like, there's so many bops that you could just play. But I think we've settled on we're gonna do a Paris Hilton song.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's like
so
what
fun.
we're gonna walk back down to. So still good.
That's great. I feel like that's in the same vein of like appreciation for, you're all about the pop music.
Exactly.
Okay, Shannon, I've got some just rapid things I want your hot takes on.
Okay.
So I was doing a comedy show earlier this week that had like an improv segment with it, and the audience was just like yelling things at me, and I had to like give a take on them. So these are some of them that I also want your takes on. Beauty pageants.
That child exploitation.
That was my take.
Yeah.
That was my take. And
Like,
also
why?
JoJo Siwa has been literally working since she was a toddler.
Yeah.
Let her rest.
Let her rest.
Yeah.
I feel like anyone that comes from that world, it like ends bad.
Yeah.
John Benet Ramsey.
Right, I know. It's never good. And it's also like, why are we taking like literally little girls and then like dressing them up like
being
as
like,
women? Yeah. And then
Yeah.
there's like men, and I just, we don't
Be
like
done
it.
with it.
Yeah. Retire it. Matcha lattes.
I don't drink coffee at all, so
No caffeine, like not
I like
matcha.
caffeine, but I just don't like coffee. I like can't get on board with it, so I've never had a matcha latte. So trash. No,
What do you
I'm sure
drink?
it's great. You can all.
What do you
enjoy.
drink in the morning then?
Like water.
Oh my
I know.
God.
It's
Wait, this is why you have such nice skin. She's glowing.
Thank you so
She's glowing
much.
'cause she just drinks water.
Thanks. I do love like an energy drink every once in a while, but I have to cut back. I really like Diet Coke too.
Okay.
So I had to get hypnotized one time to like cut back on my Diet Coke because it got a little crazy there for a minute.
This is the most millennial woman thing ever.
Is that a millennial woman
I
thing?
feel like it is a trait to be like, I need my Diet Coke.
Oh, yeah.
But
And
how did you realize you needed to get hypnotized for a Diet Coke addiction?
If I didn't have one in the fridge at home and I 3 o'clock hit in the afternoon and I was hit my craving, I'd have to go buy one. I was addicted. So I was I don't want to be like this anymore. I got to get off the sauce.
Okay.
So I got hypnotized and it worked. It worked for 2 years and now I'm
what was the
hypnosis
sauce like?
It was at home. It was during COVID. So I just had to lie on my couch and then there was a guy sitting in a chair like this and then he was speaking to me for an hour and he was like, you hate sugary aspartame drinks and da-da-da. But it cost $200. So I feel in my brain.
You should have just bought the Diet Coke.
I know. Well, I was thinking in my brain, I probably was if I don't quit now after this, I've thrown away $200.
Right. Okay.
So I think that's what helped trigger it. And then I didn't drink any for 2 years, but now I might have to rebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love the Diet Coke
But
community.
It works. It's because my boss also addicted to Diet Coke, but she was crack one open as soon as she opened her eyes in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Probably
I have my 3 p.m. Diet Coke right here.
Oh, yeah. It's the best.
Yeah,
I love it. But yeah, so she got hypnotized and then she was like, you should try it. And then I did it and it worked. So
see, my take with an afternoon Diet Coke is I could literally be doing drugs in the middle of the day to get through it. So a Diet Coke isn't that bad.
Yeah.
It could be so much worse.
And people always say the thing about the aspartame where they're it's so bad for you, but then that's turned out to be false. It's
yes,
you have to drink gallons every day for that to actually cause any harm.
Yeah.
So enjoy your Diet Coke. Life is
too short. And if it really gets bad, then you can drop multiple $100s on
a hypnotist. I know a guy.
That's so funny. Okay, what's your take on pineapples?
Trash.
Trash. You're not
on
a fan.
Pizza? Absolutely not.
Okay.
Another millennial debate.
That is, yeah.
Otherwise, pretty good. In a pina colada,
right?
The best.
Okay, like a pineapple juice.
Yeah.
The flavoring is fine.
Sure. Yeah, I'll allow it.
Yeah, I'll fuck with a pineapple if it's pre-shaved, with the skin off it. But if I've got to
do it yourself,
yeah, and also I got ADHD. By the time I finish cutting that pineapple up, I no longer want it anymore. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, I'll take a sliced pineapple.
Right.
I won't say no.
If I'm at home slicing up some for our walk,
yeah.
when we go
if
smoke
you
a
bring
joint,
me
if I bring pineapple,
I'll eat the pineapple.
Yeah, okay.
For sure. I probably
you're
just
not
won't
rude.
seek it out.
Right.
I won't be at home 3 o'clock in the afternoon being
just I need it.
Pineapple.
I need to get hypnotized for it.
Yeah.
I love it. Shannon, I got a few more final questions for you.
Okay.
What is a dream celebrity that you want to interview?
Ooh, it changes all the time. There's always just a big list, but Meryl Streep is my favorite actress of all time. So I think she would be somebody that I would just freak out over having the opportunity to talk to. Yeah.
Is there anyone you freaked out over recently?
Oh, I freak out over everyone. I get because I'm such a fangirl. That's why I got into this, and now I get to interview all these people.
Right. And you're all this knowledge I got from Tumblr about these people.
Yeah, I'm oh wait, I made a TikTok about them not long ago. Hopefully they didn't see it, but yeah, Meryl Streep would be one. My favorite male actor is Tom Hanks, and I got to interview him a couple months ago.
Oh, cool.
So I was really freaking out about that. When I interviewed Miley Cyrus, I could hear myself fangirling, and to the point where I was had to rein it in.
I was
take
a deep breath.
I'm at work. I need to chill out. I literally was I've loved you since you were Hannah Montana, and we're born a week apart, and we're both Sagittarius, just going off. And then, I was Shannon, you have 10 minutes with this person. So I got through it. Yeah.
I love it. Shannon, what advice do you have for young women trying to do what you're doing in media, as chaotic as it could be?
Just put yourself out there. Just do it. I think especially we're in a day and age where you can just start a podcast and be on Zoom and ask people to come on it. And a lot of the times people will do it. More times I'll get a yes than a no.
Right.
So I a friend and I did an Earth Month podcast last month, and we're wonder if we could get Jane Goodall on our podcast. Cool. And then we got her on the podcast. Right. We're everyone's out there doing their thing. So just start doing it, start posting. I always say if you feel really uncomfortable posting on social media or TikTok, or you're scared you're not going to get any views, or you post something and it doesn't get a lot of views, that just means no one saw it, which means you can just delete it and try it again.
Jane Goodall would be such an incredible person to chat. Did you ask her about the 100 Men versus the gorilla?
That debate hadn't come up yet, but I probably would have. That would be the perfect person to ask about that.
She's the expert on gorillas.
On gorillas.
Right.
I'm on monkeys and stuff. So she would probably know that the answer is
like,
Yeah.
good luck, fellas.
Good luck.
Yeah.
The gorillas gotcha. But yeah, she was really nice. I just wanted to know what she does in her downtime. I'm like, you're always
What
doing
does
something
she-
and you're
yeah.
91 years old. You've like never stopped. She was like, time off? She's like, literally downtime? I don't do that. I was like, fair. That makes sense. So
See,
she doesn't do anything.
My therapist earlier today was like, I think you being busy is a coping mechanism for you, Hillary.
Mine
for
says
not-
that
like,
too.
Yeah, but then I'm like, well, Jane Goodall. You're saying Jane Goodall and I have the same coping mechanism? Great.
Like, sorry,
Great.
I'm a great person. Yeah.
Shannon, what's one app on your phone that you refuse to delete?
Oh, TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm addicted.
Same.
It's hours every day and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm like not even looking to lower my screen time. No. I'm happy with where I am. Yeah.
Can you read us something from your notes app?
Yeah, like anything
Yeah,
from my
it doesn't,
notes app?
it doesn't have to make sense to us.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I feel like all of my notes, I'm on my notes a lot, but it's always like half made TikTok ideas where I'm like, oh, that might make a good TikTok. And then I don't end up making it.
You should make all these. I feel like you're an expert at like going viral.
I know.
And, like,
And you know what happens? So like I'll have an idea and then I don't do it. And then I see someone else do
does it.
And it's my fiance Morgan gets so annoyed because I'm like, oh, that was my idea. And she was like, make the video. Like you always are like, oh, that'd be a good video.
I read this book by Elizabeth Gilbert that was talking about, the title of the book's Big Magic, but it's like kind of like nonfiction. She's talking about like just creatives and like her creative process and like whatever. And like she literally says that's happened to her so many times in her life where somebody, like maybe someone she doesn't even know, maybe it is someone she knows, she's never shared this creative idea with them, but if you don't, like the creative idea wants to be born. And so like if you don't birth it, then somebody
else
it's going to
will.
move on and find like a new host kind of, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, that means I gotta make some
Yeah.
TikToks tonight. I have a list of interviews that I could think of where I talk about being gay because I was like, that'd be fun to do like a montage of all the times that I've like tried to subtly bring up to queer famous people that I'm also gay.
Did you tell Miley Cyrus that you're?
I had to have. I
Yeah.
must have because there's no way that I feel like I would have gone through the conversation without being like, I'm also gay. Like, you're kind of gay.
Yeah. Miley Cyrus, do you want to come to my wedding?
Yeah. Oh, I feel like my team at work is probably so excited that I'm getting married next month because every artist that comes in, I'm like, you want to sing at my wedding? Like, I've asked every single person. I've asked Jonathan Vanessa to officiate. I've like,
Have you got any yeses?
Everyone says yes because they're like, yeah, of course, let's make it happen.
And then you follow them.
No one's coming to my
when
wedding.
you're on air, they're like, sure.
Yeah, everybody.
Wait, is that what you did with me saying that we were going to go on a walk together? I was like, sure, totally.
I'm like, yeah, neighbor, see you around. Like, no, we are hanging out. It'll happen. So yeah, it's just a list that's like Renee Rapp. When I mentioned my fiance's from North Carolina, Tate McRae. I called myself a whole homosexual. I don't know why I phrased it that way. So I was just like all the ways that I was like Katy Perry. I was like, you love gay people. As a gay person, I
love it.
That'll be my look out for that TikTok around Pride Month. If I don't make it, someone else will.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's so funny. I have so many notes in here. Oh, I have a list of things that my ex spoke in her sleep all the time. So I used to like make a list of every time that she spoke in her sleep.
And you've kept this.
I was like editing it the other day because it was like, I was like telling someone about it. So it like popped up to the rest of my thing.
I think this is a great TikTok actually.
Yeah.
This is content.
I'll be like things that my ex said in her sleep.
Yeah, you should right before you get married, be like, I gotta ditch this note quick before I'm locked down.
Seriously, I'm like, not you, my beautiful fiance, but just my ex-girlfriend. Maybe this is why we broke up because she said weird stuff in her sleep. She said one time, my lips were full of murder.
No.
As I'm lying next to her. I was like, we need to break up. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is a PR relationship if you stayed.
Yeah, seriously. She said one time, my feet are in jail. My feet are in jail. We have to paint the house. Isn't that so bizarre?
That's terrifying.
There were so many times. Oh, yeah. She talked about a clown one time.
Oh, so then I would having good dreams. She's not well.
She's having a tough time. Yeah. Hopefully she's doing better now. Yeah. We're locked and loaded. We got to go.
Okay. Yo, if anybody in the comments does any dream interpretation, let us know. What can Shannon uncover from her ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, seriously. Oh yeah, she said we need tartar sauce. And then she sat up. I remember this. She sat up out of bed and yelled, "Gun." I was like, "What?
We need tartar sauce.
We need tartar sauce."
Is she like is she in like the 1700s defending herself from the British? Like she's
Maybe.
like, we need tartar sauce.
Always in the morning though, I was like, "Did you sleep okay?" She's like, "Yeah, totally." And I'm like,
It's
"Okay,
like, no,
you said your lips were full of murder. Like,
Right.
what does that mean?" So yeah, we're not together anymore.
Okay, that's why she threatened actually to kill me in my sleep. And
Yeah,
I was like, I can't be in
I
this anymore.
couldn't. The vibes were so bad.
Shannon, last question for you. How do you keep from getting overstimulated?
Zoloft, as
Yeah.
mentioned. I'm on Vyvanse now too, so we're double medicated. I got my ADHD diagnosis,
Yeah.
so everything makes sense now. And I just like smoke weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what I do.
Drugs, and more drugs.
And then add drugs on top
Yes.
of that. Uppers and downers, I guess.
Thanks so much for getting overstimulated with us. Make sure you check out Shannon's socials. Where can everyone find you, Shannon?
Yeah, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, I guess. No, just joking. Not anymore. But my handle's It's Shannon Burns, which I realize now is the worst handle to say out loud because I always have to be like, the handle is not Shannon Burns, but it's Shannon
at It's Shannon
So it's
Burns.
like at ITS Shannon Burns. Yeah.
I like it.
I'll change it.
No, it's
But
good.
For
It's
now,
good.
it's the same on
It's
everything.
the Shannon Burns, not the
See,
Shannon Burns.
that's
but
what
like,
I always
it gives
find is
more, like,
cringy.
yeah.
I'm like, people that are like, the official
official.
Shannon Burns. Yeah.
Yeah, Cardinal Official. We're coming for you for for making that weird,
Yeah, exactly.
But you were saying earlier, like if you can write it out.
If you can
after
write it
hearing
out, it's better. So it's Shannon Burns. You can't write out.
Yeah.
So I got to take my own advice.
I love it. Thanks so much for getting overstimulated with us, guys. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.